ท่านอาจาร
สวัส
ย์
ดีครับ
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์
Jan, Anne wished us to just say that she regrets that she probably can't join. Her husband Glenn has just had surgery after heart issues and is in hospital, so she's having quite a difficult time. But if you would like to say anything that may be helpful for her, then I'm sure she would be glad.
All Dhammas, see, as long as there is no understanding of the truth, there are conditions for different Dhammas to arise without understanding. And this is life. It keeps on growing on unknowingly all the time, endlessly. And we think that this moment is so true, but what is the absolute truth of it? No one there at all. Otherwise, nothing can cure what is there as sufferings and so on, because actually, when there is the understanding of the truth of no one and no world, because what is meant is world only when it's there, conditioned to arise to be something, but actually it's not there anymore. To consider whether this is true or not, this is just the way to understand whatever is there in any situation, just right now. Seeing sees, so how can be seeing last or be someone or something, because completely gone, completely, absolutely, never to return at all. And when this is so true, the understanding encourages the development of understanding about what is there, little by little. The truth is that no one has made it right at all. It's there already, well, no matter what, right now, through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. With all these doorway, how can anything appear? But even so, Dhamma is much more subtle than that. Even there's nothing appear now, but there is condition, which condition moment of experiencing, because the arising of the reality which experiences is there. No one can make it arise by conditions, all by conditions. So today, what is there is conditioned. Tomorrow the same, yesterday the same, in time the same at all. So only the understanding which begin to understand the absolute truth, no one at all. So what is there? Beginning to attain the truth of that which appears usually to ignorance, not understanding it, but it appears at moment of seeing is there, at moment of hearing is there, at moment of thinking is there, from moment to moment, only that. And then where are they gone? Not to anything at all, to any place, but completely, absolutely no more at all. And the understand of this begin to understand the truth that actually what is there is unavoidable. It is there already to understand its truth as whether it's something or whether it's there permanently or is there just when it's there. That's why just listening to understand the truth of whatever is, no matter here and now or where, to understand, no matter what it is a reality which can experience, and the other one is that which cannot experience. Only that, see, beginning to understand what is meant by nothing. From nothing, then there is something by conditions, and then nothing again, never to be found at all, as it has gone completely. So just a moment is conditioned to be just that very moment and then gone unexpectedly, depending on what is there, whether it is the attachment or ignorance or worry or what is there. It's gone because no one has made it arise and no one can make it gone at all. That's why this is the way, whatever is now appearing, and being so true that it cannot be changed, but it depends on understanding, how much understanding of just each word which represents each reality that Buddha has enlightened. For example, at the moment of hardness, no word of sight, no word of smell, no word of thinking. It's only that. Only that is true. So true. Hardness cannot be anything at all, but it's there without any understanding, because no words to condition the understanding of its nature as how can it be anything? Whatever is there is as it is, even just one word, as it is. No one, no thing. It's hard, so it's just hard or hardness only, see? And it's gone. And who make it arise to be the object? Impossible. It's there. But without that which are now experiencing moment to moment, what is there? As they appear as something together, but the truth, the absolute truth, is no one there at all. And everything has to arise by conditions. Sickness, wealth, poverty, or whatever it would be, by condition. But no one there, just when it arises and falls away. So what about it? Gone. What is the most precious in life is to understand the truth of what is there, because it's covered up at moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, being born and die, all covered up. What about the truth of what is there now? Nothing at all, because from nothing it's there, then nothing again. That's why the word sunyata go together with anatta. In the Pitaka, always anatta and sunyata, no one. Otherwise, how can there be the letting go the idea of it's so permanent, it's now permanent, it's there, always there. But actually, no one can make it rise, so it's there. And the other moment is not the previous moment at all, different one, but they look like the same all the time. That's why the reality which experience and marks that which is seen, take it for something so permanent as shape and form, as being. So it depends on understanding the truth only, that there can be less and less dukkha or worry or whatever is there, depending on how much understanding of the truth. As long as it's so pleasant, no one think about what is not permanent at all. See, not permanent at all. It's there. But when it's so pleasant, no thought about it. That's why just listen, because no one there, only right understanding, studying, considering carefully about the absolute truth, that it can show up to Panya only, even right now, it's arising and falling away. Otherwise, the Arya Satya Dhamma cannot be Arya Satya Dhamma, but it is Arya. Very, very true, absolutely. Satya, the truth, is what it is, as it is, like dukkha, that which arises and falls away, no matter what. So many things, it seems like we are still here. Actually, all realities arising and falling away until only this moment can be known. Otherwise, it's passed on without any understanding, as usual in samsara. That's why seeing that the subtlety of realities, there can be the moment of not be careful to study each word and keep on the meaning of it, that it cannot be changed. It is it. The characteristic of that which is hard, it's there hard. Nobody can change it. Nobody can make it to be different. And it cannot be taken for anything because it's completely gone unknowingly. And this is what is meant by right understanding of the truth of what is there now. It's real only when it's there, and then gone, no more at all. No matter one breath, there is the thought about wanting it to arise again. Impossible. And what is meant by impossible, each word is so true. That's why to be true to the truth, to be true to what is heard as it is, to develop the understanding that whatever is now is there as it is, but it's not known yet. That's all. So any moment, see, gone without understanding, and there can be a moment of beginning to study, to understand that what we are hearing now is just about what is there in split seconds, just one, very, very short, and then gone. So how can it be known until Panya is there enough, little by little, to understand what we are talking about the truth of what is there. And even just the word, it is seen, see, it's not clear yet, because it's only the word, while the reality arises and falls away. No idea, no understanding, until hearing about the truth, and then beginning to just understand the truth. No one, not try to change it, not try to have it more, not try to, they are all wrong, because that is done by ignorance, taking it still for I can do, or something like that. So it's just a very, very subtle, and it's a very, very long way, because it has to be right understanding of the truth. As now, no one but that sees, arises and sees. That is seen, arises and is seen. Otherwise, how can it be what we take for the world, the life, and everything? Just all gone, the breaking world each moment. That is the way to understand the truth, little by little, until it is so very firm, implanted as no one. This is the main teachings of the truth. No one at all. Only that which is so very sure. Right now, everything. It doesn't matter at all, because it's no one who is listening. It's right understanding which develops to see the truth that actually what is there now cannot be taken for anything, because in the absolute sense, it's gone completely, never to return at all. Each moment, so natural, as normal, as it's conditioned. Otherwise, there cannot be the understanding of what is there as accumulated, eons and eons ago, ready to arise, to appear, and then gone. Again and again. This is the only way to be familiar with the nature of that which is now appearing, little by little by conditions. And there can be a little more understanding until then that has been accumulated strong enough to appear to that level of Panya, which understands. Is useless for anything to appear, to ignorance, even just right now, exactly the same. But when it appears to right understanding, it's impossible not to understand the truth, because right understanding develops little by little until at that very moment, by conditions, anatta, and then sunyata, no more, little by little in life. No one there at all, just the way it is. And this is the teaching to understand what is there now as it is. As it is. No one. It's hard. It sees. It likes. It thinks, and so on. Many things are hidden long time ago. So how can it appear without any understanding? For example, the reality which now is memory and marks what is there. See, it's there already, it's gone already. it's not understood as it is already, that it is no one, and there is no way just by ignorance to understanding it. It has to be understanding, just beginning to wash away, to wear away, little by little. That is the function of understanding, because when it understands, how can it become ignorance of that which is understood? Impossible. For example, right now, the understanding of to understand the truth, it is only the moment of hearing about what is there as it is, little by little. Otherwise, the self is there, the memory and the feeling and so on, the five khandhas are there. Try to do something. So what is the understanding of the words of truth about it? It's there. Okay, it's there now. What is it? Who makes arise? No one at all. So the truth is so true all the time. The truth is the truth anytime. All depends on the hearing wisely, consider wisely until it's so firm and more firm confidence of the truth of what is there is the only thing that can be known as it is, which is not self. Which is not self, as it is. So it's so very short, very quick when it's there and then gone. But it's so different from moment when just there is now no awareness, no attention to its nature at all. But it's there now to be that which proves how much understanding or ignorance is there. That's why just understanding that what is there is the only moment and only truth that can be known, only when it's there. Can condition moment of leading little by little, nearer and nearer to understand that we are talking about that which is now appearing. Little by little.
Ajahn,
Yes.
I keep hearing you saying about the three moments. What are they, and why three? Why not 4, 5, 6? Thank you. Can you please explain? Yes.
Well, I said again, 3 moments or what?
You keep saying after the 3 moments there's a seeing or hearing, or after the 3 moments there's a party senti or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what you mean by 3 moments, and also I'm not sure why not 4, 5, or 6 moments.
Is there only this moment? See, to understand the truth, it goes little by little to be object of considering carefully. Even each word could lead to more understanding of the truth. And this is the only way to understand not just the word, the meaning, but the truth. Is there at the moment or only this moment?
Only this moment there's a seeing. I've been taught, yes.
So now there is the understanding that there is a moment of seeing, right? But it's
Yes.
not known as it is, right? It's there, seeing. Is there any moment before seeing?
Yes.
Is there a moment after seeing?
Yes.
Is it known?
After the seeing? No.
No. Before. See, that's why what we take for seeing is not just only seeing, right? There are other moments before and after seeing too. When we talk about 3 moments, so in order to understand what we mean, 3 moments, we don't talk about other moments, but begin to understand that there is not just one moment at all. There must be the unknown moment before moment of seeing, and unknown moments as the moment of seeing right now, right?
Yes, but why do we need to know the one before that and the one after that?
Is it not true?
It is true. There is a moment before the seeing and there's a moment after the seeing.
Should we understand that each moment is conditioned, arising and falling away unknowingly, beginning of understanding what is there, from not understanding at all. So we learn to understand the truth of what is there from the words of the Enlightened One, because it's so subtle, almost impossible to understand. But since it's there, and there is the way leading to understand the truth, and there is the one who had enlightened, that's why he taught about the way he has developed. And now, are we not on the way to understand what is there now as it is? To understand that there is seeing right now, no understanding of seeing whether what it is at all. No understanding that it's moments before seeing and moments after seeing. So how short a moment of seeing is, unexpectedly, unknowingly, because it has to be panya, which develops to the degree that it can understand what is there, as not just seeing. That's why Buddha taught about what is there, to be conditioned to study and beginning to learn about it, to know the truth of it, that there is only one moment of seeing. And the moment before seeing, does it see? And moment after seeing, does it see? No one knows at all. No idea, because not understanding what seeing is yet. That's why to be so to be truthful to the truth, there must be understanding of each word, more and more, a little more, a little more, a little more, to understand the gap or the very, what are there in between, right understanding and ignorance. Much different about what is there arising and falling away now, and just the idea about the truth, about what is there. Even if there is not known, there must be that which experiences before seeing. And after seeing, there is thinking. So thinking is not seeing. But what is there between seeing and thinking is quite apart, unknown. That's why there is the beginning of the understanding of what is meant by enlightenment and the enlightened one and the condition for enlightenment. Not just not knowing anything and try to do whatever is there with ignorance. So all wrong, because it's not understanding what is there as it is at all. Even from the very beginning, the idea of self is there all the time. Even right now, this is to be true to the truth. Is the I right now?
Yes.
So where is it? Is seeing the I?
Yes.
Can seeing be ignorant?
No, cannot see the ignorance.
And we learn, why do we study each word as it is? To let go of wrong understanding, which is so much uncountable at all, to be understood little by little as it is, in order to wash away, to wear away the wrong understanding and the clinging to whatever is there, as so many things in Tipitaka, each word just talk about what is there right now, not to be careless that I understand the teachings of the Buddha. But what about now? What he taught about right now? He did say that it's not just only seeing. There must be moment before seeing and moment after seeing. And seeing just arise to see by conditions, different objects. Who can select? Who can make it arise? They are conditioned for even experiences, just that pleasant or unpleasant object in a moment. And then the other moment does not see, but experience the same thing just right now. We talk about the moments when they do not appear, but because only seeing is there, appearing. But actually, since it's not the moment of experiencing directly the characteristic of that which is now appearing, it's not known that it's there. And this is the difference from moment to moment in details about citta, the function of citta, each one. The citta which arises before seeing does not see. It doesn't have the function to see. It's the condition to see. See, that's why before learning to understand the absolute truth of what is there as a self, it has to be listening again and again and consider about the truth, whether there is citta before seeing and citta after seeing, and does it see, but it experiences the same object as its function, which is conditioned just to arise before seeing or after seeing. See, that's why when we talk about 3 moments after seeing, we're thinking about that very short moment. Clean.
So if Ajahn, so even at the Patisenti, there are also the 3 moments.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean by something?
Yeah, I think I heard you mentioned that in one of the Dhamma talks. I can't recall which week you're talking, but I heard you say at the Patisenti there are 3 moments as well.
That's
No?
why we have to listen carefully what we are talking about.
Right.
When we talk about 3 moments, what are they?
Right.
Not just 3 moments and 3 moments. So when we talk about a moment, can it be 2 moments together at the same time?
No, 1 moment only.
That's why Buddha thought about what he had enlightened in details to condition moment of beginning to understand that the truth of the complex of realities on and on and on, years and years ago and years ahead, to begin to understand the truth little by little, to condition moment of directly understanding what is there now. That's why talking about what 3 moments, at moment of birth, of death, or what, see, it has to be clear. Otherwise, wrong understanding is there, ignorance is there, the I is there, the things are there as usual. So now,
Yes, Sarah.
First of all, in the idle process, so one citta adverts to the object, the adverting citta,
Yes.
the visible object, for example. Seeing sees that visible object. And then after seeing, there must be 3 more cittas before the kusala or akusala cittas can arise. So after seeing, there are 2 more vipaka cittas which experience a visible object, completely unknown, but they don't see it. And
You mean like Sentirana or
Sampatichana and Santirana, they are 2 vipaka cittas. They arise. No one knows about them, but it's to show how short seeing is. And it has to be followed by 2 more vipaka cittas, which experience the visible object and perform their own functions. And then after these 2 vipaka cittas, there has to be 1 kiriya citta, the Votapana citta, which arises, which also experiences the visible object, but doesn't see it. And only after the Votapana citta has fallen away can the kusala or akusala cittas arise. But it's also very, very fast, just to show how citta arises and falls away so rapidly. So when Ajahn earlier was mentioning three more cittas, it just shows after seeing 3 more cittas, and then lobha or ignorance can arise to experience that object. Completely different topic to when when you're talking about Patisandhi Citta, because when you're talking about Patisandhi Citta, the Patisandhi Citta is the same kind of citta as Bhavanga Cittas. It doesn't experience an object through a doorway. So better not to mix or confuse, completely different topic. But anyway, for the sense doorways, I think it's clear now, citta that adverts to the object, then the seeing or hearing or the reality which experiences that object directly, which sees or hears it, and then 3 more cittas, and then kusala or akusala cittas.
Yes, thank you.
Clear?
Yes, it's very clear now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ajahn. Yes, very deep. Thank you.
And there be moments.
So sorry, Ajahn. What do you mean?
So now you understand what is meant by 3 moments, right?
After the seeing, like Sarah explained, there's three more moment after the seeing.
And hearing and so on.
Yes.
So can we talk about other 3 moments?
Can we? I don't know. Sorry.
This is the way to understand the truth, what is meant by moment. Can we count by 3 or by 1 or by 10?
No, we can't count because it happens so fast.
Okay, but even it happens so fast, what are there in between? 1 and 3, 1 and 10, and so on. This is the way to really understand what is meant by moments. And when we talk about different moments, what for? Because each moment lasts only very shortly and then gone. Exactly the same. No one can change the way it arises and falls to be longer or shorter than that. Just one moment. The moment of arising, the moment when it's not fallen away yet, and the moment when it's not there anymore, fallen away. Each citta has 3 moments equally. The moment
yes.
arising, the moment of what you say, saying, and then the moment of falling away.
Yes.
Only that. So we can count by any way, but when we talk about something to understand it, we talk about what is there as it is. For example, what are there? How many moments before understanding there is something there impinged on the basis, sense basis? See, is it a moment too? Before seeing, before hearing, is it
Yes.
a moment too?
Yes.
One moment or more than just one, uncountable one, until it's only one before seeing that we are talking about.
Yes.
That's why just talk about whatever is there as not limited to just this and that, but the understanding of the way it is, the way reality is conditioned to arise, to experience, the way reality is conditioned to arise and cannot experience anything. To understand each moment, what is taken for life is from moment to moment, but that's quite so very, very different to be understood a little more, that what can be taken for self, not at all, no matter what citta, even the birth moment, death moment, and moments between birth and death, by conditions. So nothing is known until Buddha told us about the way it appears, because at moment of birth, does anything appear? Otherwise, it's not understanding the reality which arises and experience and then gone. So it has to be clear understanding of one reality a little more in order to understand that that cannot be taken for anything. No one can make it arise. And that is only when it is there and then gone. And even it's there now. The arising and falling away of each one is not known. 3 moments after seeing, or 100 moments before seeing, or 1 moment before seeing. They're different. By the way, it's there. Is citta which arises before seeing the same of citta which arises before that which arises before seeing? See, clear understanding has no doubt about the nature of that which arises and experience. No matter what function is there, different ones, but the characteristic of the nature of it which arises and experience is there, the same, no matter what type of citta, Lokuttara citta, Lokiya citta, seeing, hearing, so on. Its nature is just, it arises to experience in order to get closer to the nature that now it arises and experience. So now there's not just seeing moment, there are other moments too, unknown until hearing about it little by little. That is there, even it's not known. So what is now appearing is the nimitta, the sign of that which experiences. But so many different things. That's right, after 3 moments, after seeing 3 moments, it's there. Unknown. Why we take it for I see? Because even just 3 moments after it, the ignorance, the accumulated tendency to take it for self is there. That's why no one knows why there is the idea of self. Because it's just 3 moments after experiencing an object through eyes, ears, and nose, for example. It's there already. And when it's not there to be known, what about that which is now appearing? That is the reality that can be known only when it's there appearing. So natural, see, only understanding develops unknowingly too.
This is very interesting. This is very interesting, Ajahn. But you know, in the Javana process, the citta, do they have the 3 moments as well?
Say this.
In the Javana process, in the you have the 7 javanas, chittas. Is that chittas? Or in the javana process, you have the 7 moments.
What do you mean by process?
You know, the I think in Pali term they call it javana. Is that right?
If we don't use that word, can we change to other word? For example, lopa.
Yes.
So we have to understand clearly of each moment as it is. What is meant by process? When does it begin and end as process?
Yes.
And what is the Pali term for it in order to don't mix up with
The
our...
viti. They call the viti. Is that right? Viti.
Okay, what is meant by the word viti?
Process
In Pali,
on the past.
viti. Excuse me, say it again, please. What is
Process.
viti?
They call the process. Is that right? The process. It means process.
Process. What does it mean? What is it? And why do we call it process? And why it's called process? And what is the truth of the process? Is it now process?
I think so. There's a if you're talking about the idol, yes, idol process.
And if we don't talk about idol process, is there any process?
I'm not so sure what you mean. Sorry.
That's right. It's not enough just learn the word, but the reality right now can be understood little by little what is meant by each word. That's why there are Viticita and Chitta, which is not Viticita, right?
Right.
And what are they? What is the difference?
The chitta is the is experiences. The viti is the it's like I thought it was the process, or it could be like a path.
What about now?
There's a seeing, the hearing now.
Okay, what is process?
Seeing process.
What do you mean by seeing process?
There's many chittas and involved in the process.
That's why we have to understand the truth of each reality. For example, just talk about chitta itself, not yet process or not process, but what is chitta itself? In order to understand the viti chitta and chitta, which is not viti chitta. Because we have to understand the fundamental of the truth. What is it? In order to understand it better and better as not self. What is there now? See? In order to understand what we meant by process, see? But it has to begin from the very beginning. What is there now? No thought about process or anything at all. But what is there now? Otherwise, how can we understand what's meant by process? And this is a study of the truth of what is there, as it is, as not self, little by little. It's there to be studied, to be known about its truth, from hearing and considering carefully, wisely. Because there's good. Okay, please.
Tam, are all cheaters viti cheaters, process cheaters?
Say it again, please.
Tam, are all cheaters that arise process cheaters or viti cheaters? For example, when you mention patisandhi cheetah and the cheetahs that follow it, or the cheetahs in deep sleep, are they viti cheetahs, process cheetahs?
No.
Why not?
They don't have the seeing, the hearing. The object of understanding is different from the seeing and hearing, touching, smelling.
What about the mind door cheetahs? They don't have seeing or hearing. Are they viti cheetahs?
Yes.
When thinking in the mind door?
Yes.
Why are they viti cheetahs?
Because they're not Pavanga cheetahs.
So cheetahs are either cheetahs that arise in a process, in a viti, like experiencing an object through a sense door or through the mind door,
Yes.
or they are cheetahs which are not viti cheetahs, the Bhavanga cheetahs, for example, and also the Patisandhi and Chuti cheetahs. They don't experience an object through a doorway, so they are not viti cheetahs. And earlier you started by talking about the process of Javana cheetahs, but Ajahn is asking you what is process, what is viti, because Javana cheetahs are not a process. The viti cheetahs through the eye door begin with the adverting consciousness. So the adverting consciousness, the seeing, the three more cheetahs we've discussed, and then the kusala or akusala cheetahs, they are all the viti cheetahs through the eye doors, experiencing the same object, the same visible object, or the same sound. So that's why we can't just say the Javana cheetahs are the process. There are 7 cheetahs in that process amongst those viti cheetahs experiencing an object through that doorway, through a doorway. And when you asked about whether those 7 cheetahs, whether there are 3 cheetahs, there are 7 cheetahs, unless exceptionally there are 5. So if you want to say there are 3 and then 4 more, it's okay, it doesn't matter, it's just a number, but maximum 7, usually 7 cheetahs. Each one is a viti cheetah in that process, experiencing the same object. But when you asked before about Patisandhi cheetah, the Patisandhi cheetah is followed by Bhavanga cheetahs, which are not viti cheetahs. So it doesn't matter how many Bhavanga cheetahs follow the Patisandhi cheetah, but there have to be Bhavanga cheetahs following it before there can be a mind or process, viti cheetahs arising.
Yes, thank you.
Is that a bit clearer?
Yes, very clear now. Yeah.
And just one more question for you, Tham.
Yes.
Which are more in a day, viti jitters or
Viti
the other
jitters.
jitters that are not viti jitters?
I think I sleep less than I stay awake. So I would say, more viti jitters.
Is it a matter of just being asleep and awake? Because we are told that even in between the different VTs or processes, there are Bhavanga-jittas arising. And as the commentaries explain it, life is a series of Bhavanga-jittas, except when interrupted by a sense door process or mind door process.
Yes.
So, as I understand it, if we, not
If
that
that's
anyone
the
can
case,
count, but so many
Yes.
non-VT jittas, but they are
Yes.
not known.
Yeah. Yes. You're right. You're right. Quite right. Yes.
Okay.
Back to
Thank you.
Ajahn's question, what is now? So what is now is a moment of seeing, so fleeting, and countless Bhavanga-jittas in between the process of jittas which experience the visible object. So that's why it's something and then nothing, and there's something again. So as soon as there's any interest in the seeing, it's gone completely, long gone, and Bhavanga-jittas in between. So the jittas arising and falling away so rapidly, completely unknown. And this is all just to show no one there, nothing there at all, just different jittas arising by different conditions.
So for us, the world is just VT jittas, and specifically light through that's experienced through the eye door. But that is just a perception. The reality is different. And it is by understanding Dhammas that appear now that there comes to be a better understanding of the reality of life.
I also would like to ask a question regarding about the Bhavanga jittas. There are so many Bhavanga jittas come in between the sense jittas. Is that because of the conditions? The conditions that in between there can be 3 moments, another condition in between can be 5 moments of the Bhavanga jittas. Do you know what my question is? Thank you.
Is your question about the number of Bhavanga jittas that arise
Yeah, in between
this?
Yes. Is that because of the condition? So some are more, some are less.
I don't think it's mentioned, the number. It's just, as I understand it, many Bhavanga jittas arising in between each sense door or mind door process.
And that because of the conditions. So
well, that's because life is essentially the stream of Bhavanga jittas. They are called the Life Continuum, or translated as the Life Continuum, and that's from the term Bhavanga. So birth is a non-viti jitta, and death at the other end of the lifespan is a non-viti jitta. And in between, it's all Bhavanga jittas, except when there are sense door, mind door processes arising to break the stream of Bhavanga jittas.
Right. Thank you, John. Thank you, Sarah.
Why do you want to count or know how many Bhavanga jittas there are?
Not count, but just wondering whether there are more moments, Bhavanga jittas in this process and less than the other process because of the condition. Just wondering. That's all.
You say in the process?
I think she's referring to
between the processes.
Between
because
the processes.
When the sense door process is described, often they also describe the last of the Bhavanga jittas that arise before the sense door process. But that is just the last 3 Bhavanga jittas that get disturbed. And then the sense door process begins. But it is not stated how many Bhavanga jittas might have happened before those last three that I mentioned.
Tana Janka.
Yes, please.
Yeah, first of all, Tana Jan, look, thank you so much. I mean, I've been listening to you this morning and I found it so very, very helpful. We're very fortunate to have a person like you. It's just a treat and a blessing. First, I want to say that, first of all. Many thanks for being available for us. Earlier on, you were asking questions there of our friend, and you seem to be saying that it's so valuable to connect what we hear with the reality that appears. This is what I was picking up when you were speaking, that it's very valuable to relate what we are hearing to the reality that appears. And I'd like you to speak more about that, Tana Jan, because I was listening to you this morning and I found it so very helpful.
That's why we learn to understand the word of the Buddha. Who's he? And what is the truth of each word as it is? For example, we can talk about anything because it's there as a reality, but it's not known as a reality, but it's there as something. That's why understanding what is there in truth is the best thing, because it is not easy to understand. Even what is there now, we use the word seeing. Very simple. It seems like no one cannot understand the meaning of seeing. It's there seeing, but what is it? The nature of it. Before seeing, there's no seeing. And now they're seeing, and then they're seeing. So very rapidly, from moment to moment. That's why without understanding each one as it is, it's impossible to let go, the clinging to that which is there as something. Even don't know the name, don't know what the shape is, but it's something there. See, because not understanding what is something, because it's not just there in a moment, because there are series of what about the reality which experiences arising and falling away, never stop, non-stop at all, by conditions unknown. That's why we learn to understand what is there as it is, because it's not easy to understand just the word or the reality which is now experiencing many different characteristics. But what is the chief, what is it, which the object appear so clear as it is of that it is such characteristic only, not other characteristic at all. So each one is so very subtle that even we use the same word like citta, that which experiences, it arises by conditions and it falls away. But the condition is so much different that citta is different because of conditions and so on. Beginning to understand what is there in life, to learn about it, in order to know that it's there to be known as it is, directly as it's there, and then no more, never to arise again. So it's the only way to have less attachment and cling and take it for something permanent from life to life. That's why even right now, we just talk about the characteristic of that which is taught, but it's not known yet as it is little by little. For example, we don't just pass on any word that we have heard when it's not clear. For example, process. What is that? Just the word process. What is that? See? Otherwise, it's one's own idea about what we have learned before, no matter in what subject, but no understanding of its truth as is that which experience, because now what is seen is experienced by that reality which arises and experience. It's not just hardness which cannot experience anything at all, but it's different from that which conditioned to be there without the characteristic or nature that it can experience anything at all. That's why even the moment of experiencing has to be studied to begin to understand it. It is this moment of seeing, because it sees, we use that word, but what is the meaning? It arises an experience so that can be seen. And this is what we meant by world, only one reality arising and falling away. Otherwise, how can there be anything? How can there be the world? But they arise by conditions, so much, so many things at once. That's why nobody can understand each of it as it is. So it is taken as the whole of something all the time. That's why learn to understand how much ignorance of that which is now appearing is the only way to begin to let go the idea of self and to attend to the characteristic which appears in a day, what is seen, heard, and so on, but no understanding. But this is the beginning to hear about it, not to forget about it, that it's there to be known right now. It's there to be known. So each word should be studied carefully. So we study just one word, more and more and more and more and more, until it conditions moment of not just attending in the beginning, but it develops to the moment of awareness and understand it directly of what is there now. So please, again, your question.
John, can you hear me now?
I would like to go on, but I'd like to just you to repeat the question again.
Well, in many ways, Tana Junkup, you answered it, because what you seem to be saying when you were speaking to our friend earlier on was that it's much more important to understand the reality than to understand whether it's wheaty or not wheaty. And while I heard there was some confusion with our friend, you were asking her, I thought, very, very insightful questions, and what I thought were very clever questions to help our friend understand that it's very valuable to understand the reality that appears rather than to know how many numbers or whatever. So my question was sort of wrapped up in a comment as much, but because and I'm conscious of the fact that I'm going on a bit here, but I was just finding very valuable to hear from you, Ajahn, how valuable it is to understand the reality and not be too concerned, perhaps at this stage, although I know we've got different accumulations, about 1, 2, or 3, or how many. And I thought the way you were asking questions were helping our friend to understand that it's much more important to attend to the reality that appears rather than whatever sometimes, although I know questions are valuable. Am I
listen to the truth of what is.
Yes.
Otherwise, what is the truth of what is useful to just remember the word, but not understanding even one reality right now. That's why one has to understand the point of listening, because there's no understanding of whatever is there. So it has to begin from listening to the wise word, the true words about this, in order to understand whether it's true or not. And that moment is not anyone, it's moment of understanding what is said about what is there, literally. So hearing many things in the book Sid Pitaka to hold it, just to understand what is there now. So if the beginning of right understanding, right attitude of why do we listen, just to understand that which is there as it can be understood. For example, if we use the word process, what is it? Why process? See? So it means something. Can a process be just one or many, many things following one by one, little by little? See? And so what is there in life to be processed? See? The rupa, does it have to be process of rupa and so on, or the moment of different realities in life, which is there, that can be known. For example, without that which arises to experience, can there be any birth?
No.
So what birth is, and it's gone, can it be again while this hasn't come yet? Impossible. That's why just understand the truth of what is there from moment to moment, right now, little by little. Just talk about that which is now appearing, to get closer and closer to understand its nature, which from hearing, it is not there anymore. But it doesn't matter at all, as no one at all. So nothing can be done, or anyone can do at all. Just understanding. And it's quite different from not understanding before. It has to understand the truth that it's there to be known, from hearing, considering, until attending, until being aware with right understanding from what has been heard, to understand no matter what is there. Because what is learned is there to understand no matter what is there, now or then, or in the future. And this is the point, the usefulness of studying the teachings of the Buddha, to understand what for. Listen to the truth, because it's now here and it's not known as it's taught yet. That's why not just hearing about the truth, but hearing about it to understand that which is now appearing. Even the word process, see, we think that we understand a lot about the difference between citta, which is process or not process. But what is it? What does it mean? That is citta at moment of birth. Is it process? Why not? Or why is it? Depends on the truth of it to be understood, so that there can be letting go, the clinging to it so much and numerous, uncountable repetitions, before it can be gradually eradicated. Gradually, what does it mean? From hearing and understanding. But when there is no understanding of that which is now appearing, just take it by word. No understanding is nature, and pass on and on, not understanding the difference between the intellectual understanding, which condition the direct understanding, which can lead to enlightenment, the truth of what, as it's heard, as it's so true, little by little. Then that is Satya Parami. And there is the understanding of what is meant by Satya, so true. And it has to be truthful to the truth, that it can lead to more understanding of the truth, as not said.
Well, Tanajan, see, what a question that thank you, Tanajan, very much for that. Perhaps I'm thinking of Tam earlier on, but my question here would be, you were talking about intellectual understanding just a moment ago, which can help pariyatti and so on. How much, if someone was to ask you, how much intellectual understanding do you need to enable understanding to grow? How would you answer that, Tanajan?
Can this moment be directly experienced of its nature arising?
Well, not in the beginning, but it can be later on.
But can it be directly experienced?
Not yet.
It's useless to listen to the truth of it, that it's just like it. But it has to be understood at the moment when it's there. From hearing and understanding, little by little, letting go, that which follows instantly all the time, not attending to the nature which is not there anymore, even from thinking. For example, there are now so many things, they seem like they are together, the color and the shape and the form and the remembrance and so on. But actually, what is just one which is different from the other? Otherwise, they are all together as something. And what is true, the reality which arises and can be the chief of experiencing the characteristic, the different characteristic of just one object at a time, is different from life as citta, together with citta, which experience that by its function to experience directly, clearly, in the sense of just experience the characteristic clearly, and the other reality which arises experience the same, but not performing the function of citta, but it performs the function of since citta arises and experience clearly of that object, it lies or dislikes. Even the object is so very, very different, not as we can take it like black and white, but even pink, even yellow, how many shades and degree of it is known by citta, and the cetasika which arises and experience the same but different function, because citta has such function. So what arises with it, just like or dislike, or perform their function, that who knows now how many realities which are not citta, the chief of that, which, but perform their function, vitakka, vichara, and so on. See, otherwise what is meant by enlightened truth, because it's then now unknown, and it can be known because it's taught by the enlightened one who developed the path leading to enlighten the truth of this moment. As now, Panya is on the way, little by little, at moment when it understands only.
So it's a very gradual path, Dhammajan, is really what you're saying.
It's so natural, and this is the only way to let go. Otherwise, Buddha didn't say that the path is so very, very subtle, because it's now this moment of beginning to understand little by little until the long way is there, and it just creep on, or whatever we would say, crawl or creep, or just move little by little to get that point, destination, understanding the whole of that which is now arising and appearing as nimitta. See, understand each word clearly about what is meant by nimitta and anupayanchana of something, and nimitta of just a reality, which is different. For example, nimitta of that which experiences now and that which cannot experience. They arise and fall away in split second, but they are not known as they are yet, until they can be known little by little that they are different. That which experiences now sees, and that which is seen cannot experience. From life to life, from moment of birth to death, see? And what is meant by process, see? No one, no thing, but what is it? Because even is there arising and falling away, experience an object, it depends on conditions, whether it experiences what object, through what doorway, by conditions, or not the moment of experience the object through any doorway at all, but it's there. Who knows? But if it's not there, if it were not there at all, how can there be moment of waking up and experience what we mean wake up is moment of seeing, and then ends when the rupa has fallen away and bhavanga is there. Who knows now? The stream of life experiences an object until it knows when it is the process of experiencing an object to one of the 6 domains. Not more than that, only 6 domains. So what are there in 6 domains? Nothing. Just that which is conditioned to experience and then fall away instantly, never to return. And whatever is there performing its function as sanya, marks and remember, and Vedana, feeling each moment, and other reality there now can be known little by little. From hearing and then considering and then being aware. Without understanding, there cannot be direct awareness with understanding of that which is not appearing. That's why they are not in anyone's control, but there must be conditions for even what is meant by moment with sati and moment without sati, and sati of what degree by conditions. They are all there in life and now each moment. Just understand the nature of it first, and by then there can be the understanding of the difference between each one. For example, what Buddha said about citta is not cetasika at all. Cittanupassana satipatthana, Vedananupassana satipatthana. When there is no understanding of the difference between these two, how can it become the patthana, the object for panya to understand its nature so clear? And now panya is developing. No one there at all. So it depends on understanding, especially about its nature, and so very subtle that it's there, never known before. It takes quite a long viriya and adhidana and satya. Because actually there's no one, only different realities are there now. Learn to understand it when it is there appearing. So now, seeing is there, shows up as it sees, and that which is seen show up as it is that which is seen, but no understanding. Even hearing a lot, all depends on conditions, whether it's enough, and when it's enough, unexpectedly it's there. Having more confidence of the truth of no one there at all by conditions. And this is the only way to let go the idea of self, which clings to everything around, the five khandhas, all there, unknown object of clinging.
Yes, I noticed, Tanajan, this morning that when there was a talk about jhāvana process, you were saying, well, you could relate that to lobha, and I thought that was very helpful and very insightful too, that we have these ideas about what jhāvana is about, but mostly, well, there'll be a lot of moha or a lot of attachment always that's continually arising and falling away, which we are usually unaware of.
And when we talk about jhāvana or process, there can be the understanding, not just the word, but the moment when it's there. For example, while nothing appears at all through the sense law, but there is that which experience. And how can it appear as it experiences? It has to be through mind law, because it doesn't have no shape, form, smell, or hardness and softness at all. It's only no shape, no form, no thing, but it's the reality which arises to experience, see, beginning to understand more about that which arises to experience, that they are different from moment to moment. For example, moment of birth, what is there? Who knows? It's not the moment of experiencing any object, anything through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. That's why it's different from moment of thinking right now. This is not the moment of birth. It's not the moment of hearing. See, that's why one begins to understand the nature of what is there, to understand the truth of the nature as itself, not just thinking about the word process and so on, but what is there. See, why it's not processed and then why it's processed. There must be different moments in life, daily life. It's there, but it's not known. That's why to understand the nature of that, which arises to experience, that it depends on condition to experience what? For example, at birth moment, no condition to experience seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, even thinking, because it's the result of one karma, which collects all the karmas, which can be conditioned for whatever happens in one's life to be there. No one can arrange, no one can make it, no one can change it, no one can do anything. All by condition, Sankhara-Dhamma, from moment to moment. Condition such different kinds of birth that we learn to understand that to be born human being, to be born as animal, to be born in Deva, there are different conditions. So, and at moment of just being the result of karma to arise to perform the function of succeeds the moment of death instantly. No one can stop as long as there are conditions. Then one knows that actually life keeps on by no one but by conditions, even at moment of birth, which this world does not appear at all as thing or seen or heard and so on, because it's a moment of being conditioned by karma just to arise after death and then begin on succeedingly by conditions, because each citta has its own characteristic, the anandra pacaya. So very common, but we use a term to make it known that what we mean by the citta itself, no one can stop the conditions in each citta to, as it has fallen away, condition the next one instantly, no gap in between. And why it does not experience anything yet and so on. This is to understand what just life is, only in a moment. No one, nothing can be controlled or by conditions, little by little. And this is parami. This is the development of panya and other parami, to condition moment of beginning to think about that which is now appearing until it attend that it's there, and until right understanding is enough to directly understand it at moment of direct awareness. And that is the beginning of higher level than the intellectual understanding. That is not enough. So very truthful to the truth that it has to be directly understanding the nimitta of that which now arising and falling away and experience. See, it's the very valuable moment to understand the truth as no one there at all. Otherwise, realities go on non-stop, endlessly.
I found that helpful, Tanajan, when you were saying then about Anantara-Pacaya, that can be a reminder of the conditioned nature of Dhamma that can help understanding to grow.
And this is the way to let things go. See the clinging, little by little, at moment of understanding. It cannot be much more than that at once at all. Just little by little to know about no one, no me, no thing. Because it's so true, the absolute truth, the noble truth. So now, it's not just the word process, but it's a moment when citta arises, experiences, but not through the doorways, but it has to be there by karma, by condition, to go on, perform that function until the moment of death ends up this personality, this person, just in this life. What was it before from right to life? What will it be ahead? Not this person, but we take this person as what is conditioned by karma and other conditions. That's all, shortly or longly, who knows? Nothing is known beforehand at all because of being anatta, only by conditions. And who understand the conditions of this very moment? To be kusala, akusala, understanding, or attachment, or clinging, or ignorance. And this is the way to understand what's meant by Dhamma. It's real and it's now as it is.
Very valuable, Tanajan, to hear all this. I realize how important it is to keep on hearing, to keep on listening, to keep on considering. And if we don't do that, and if that's not done,
And
then there's no development.
that's it. Right? In Tipitaka, it cannot be other way at all, because it's the way to understand what is there, which cannot be understood, even it's there now. Right understanding begins again and again until it's known as not self, until even sati is not self. Whatever is there cannot be taken for anything permanent at all. And this is what Buddha taught.
So very, very subtle, Tanajan. Not easy to understand. Intellectually, I can say I grasp some of what you're saying, but to transfer that to deeper understanding, that is not an easy task.
Hearing more, considering more, and then right understanding could be more. Right understanding, not me or anyone. How deep it is, how subtle it is, how true it is, in order to become enlightened, the truth of what is there now. As the Buddha's time, they had developed lots of parami in order just to understand his words about now or then, anytime. What has been experienced in this life is going to be forgotten, like last life.
When you say what in this life has been experienced is going to be forgotten, it seems, Ajahn, that there must be something that's remembered. I know that you don't are not saying otherwise, because the accumulations of different accumulations of sati and different accumulations of panya that can arise, in a way, can we say they are remembered?
Even remembering is not I. See, everything has to be cleared up as no one and nothing. Even remembering now is not I. To be remembered for what for, and who and what remembers. See, all unknown until reading and hearing again and again, consider again and again. It conditions right understanding of no I, little by little, even at moment of remembering, not me, it's gone. It remembers only that which appears as object. Much more subtle than anyone can imagine at all. The more Panya develops, it discerns the truth of how subtle reality is right now, unknown, beyond expectation. The truth is quite different from the world of things and people around.
Leanne, are you trying to ask a question?
So is there remembering or not remembering, Ajahn?
Now,
Because you said that there was no remembering from the last life. But what about, but then you said that even if there is remembering, that remembering is no self.
what was last life? See, the truth is the truth. At moment of remembering what is there in this life, is it the memory of last life? Impossible. Because even memory itself is not permanent. Nothing is permanent, no matter what reality it is. What were there past life? What were there just a moment ago? Just a moment ago. Temporarily death, last life, last reality. It appears and then disappears. No more. Just lastly. It's not known at all. Even so very recently, very sudden, very soon, it's not known. Only that which is now appearing is known. But not me, only the reality which perform the function of remembrance. It cannot perform other function at all. And it's gone. So remembrance, just be there accumulated as something permanent because of ignorance. So it passed on with ignorance. Take it for I remember or I cannot remember all the time. Asava, 3 moments after experiences, unknown. Where's roti? What is roti? Is it still there that you take it for roti? The truth is the truth. We don't need to do anything. Panya develops by its own function until it's the moment of experiencing the truth of what is there now, stage by stage, with understanding a little more, until it conditions such moment of understanding when that appears as it is, begin to be clear, but not as clear yet. Because it has to be the development of right understanding of vipassana about the truth of it. Not enough, not enough, not enough. Because there are still conditions for whatever arises. It's not the end of doubt or ignorance and wrong understanding yet.
Ian, do you want to come in with your question now? You've been very patient waiting.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ajahn and everyone. On the discussion last Saturday, I heard Ajahn said, after the seeing or hearing for 3 moments, then asava is there. But from what I know, I thought asava is always there at each moment of life. So I thought I just want to clarify whether Ajahn just mean, during that Jabana Chitas, asava has its influence, on the cheetahs. Thank you.
That's why we have to understand different degrees of every.
The asavas are the subtle kinds of. The asavas are the subtle kinds of clinging and wrong view and ignorance. So only when the akusala chittas arise after those three moments can the asavas arise, the very subtle clinging or ignorance or wrong view. So you may be thinking of the anusayas, the latent tendencies that are latent with every chitta in life. And because the anusayas have not been eradicated, they condition the asavas at those moments of akusala.
Yeah. I think I might have got that mixed up.
But also, just generally speaking, we can say the asanas are there all the time. They're oozing out all the time, but it doesn't mean exactly every moment of consciousness, because they are akusala jittas, so they can only arise when kusala or akusala jittas arise, which, as you said, is in the javana stage of the sense door or mind door process. And there are other jittas arising in between that are kiriya jittas or vipaka jittas. But nevertheless, we can, as I say, speaking generally, we do say that the asavas are there all the time. It doesn't mean literally every moment of consciousness, though.
Thank you, John and Sarah. So it's anusaya that is always there with every moment of consciousness.
Well, nusya are, we don't say that they are there because they are never experienced. They are latent in the citta. They are carried forward from one citta to the next. So they are latent in every citta, yes, but never appearing.
We might say something like, as soon as we wake up, the asavas are there, ignorance and attachment unknown. But it doesn't mean at every moment. It just means when the akusala chittas arise after seeing and the next three chittas, just at those moments. But generally we say there's attachment all the time. There's the clinging to the idea of self all the time. But when we're more precise, we're just talking about those particular akusala jittas.
Thanks, John and Sarah. Yeah. I'll look a bit more into those to make sure that I don't get confused between the two in the future.
Is there anything you like now?
So, Achan asking anything I like or anything I like to understand?
No. I mean now, at this moment. Is there anything you like? So when you say you like to hear the teachings, to understand, right?
Yes, I can.
What is there after hearing the question?
After hearing, there's thinking about what is heard.
Yes, but you see that there is the sound heard, right? Sound. We are talking for a moment, quite long enough, but is there anything that it shows up as you like it? Because now there are so many things seen, right? Is there anyone you like? Or the same, or what?
Maybe not strong enough for me to realize which one I like.
It can be just very little, very slight, very subtle. But is there anything you like or there is like of that object now, or no like?
I don't know, because it's nothing stand out for me at the moment. So I'm sure there's a like and dislike lots of the time, but no, it doesn't stand out much at the moment. So I cannot
We're
really
talking about asava.
Ah,
That's it. Even it's there, and there is attachment instantly, but it does not show up. It seems like no like of anything in particular at all, no like at all, just pass, saying like usual, normally, and then gone. Nothing to be object of like or dislike, but it's there already. Conditions there, ooze in it, because it's just enough for it to flow up or to just seep or ooze, see? Because it's the unknown. But if it's not I who sees, even no one speaks out, I see. But what is that which sees? What is that? No one, other people, or I there sees. Generally, when you think of seeing, it's I see, right? How come to have such idea, even if it's not spoken out? It's me or it's I who sees. That's why Buddha taught about the different degrees of akusala. But is there unknown in life? How many moments of seeing? And what are there after seeing from moment to moment? To the moment of jhana. We use the word jhana. What does it mean? Otherwise, we don't understand what jhana is. Moment of lopa, tosa, moha, or kusala, usually. It depends on whether it is moment of kusala, of what degree or not. All depends on conditions. But to realize that even there is seeing, what is there after the moment of seeing is not known. And we use the term jhana and so on. And what does it mean? What is jhana? Ignorance, attachment, aversion, or akusala, or kusala. See, unknown so very quickly. That's why Buddha taught about how can there be the eradication of all akusala, because anusaya does not show up, because it does not arise, but it's like the germ, the condition, which condition what is there accumulated at the right moment to arise. That's why there is attachment instantly to that which appears unknown until it's strong enough. I like this. See, there are so many things around. What do you like? Many different colors of flowers. Which one you like, and so on. It does not appear, but there must be attachment to such and such when it's there. Unknowingly, because of ignorance about everything. Even attachment is there, is unknown. So very ignorant about the truth. That's why Buddha pointed out about the truth of everything. Otherwise, that cannot be the way to eradicate wrong understanding and attachment and all akusala. That's why we just learn to understand what is there, even it does not appear. For example, we learn about the birth consciousness. It's not there to be known right now, but it's there once, see, the first moment in life. Otherwise, it tells the pati santi citta. And what does it mean? Pati santi, it's a moment of death instantly. No other citta can arise to succeed the moment of death at all. It has to be that which is conditioned by karma to be just this personality of this person only in this life. Not more than this. That's all. And forgotten. What about last life? Citta, cetasika, which were taken for life for me in the past, never to arise again at all. And it is like this is each moment. include the future moments must be just like this, but different realities, different conditions. That's all. Keep on going, rolling on to the end of each life by conditions. That's why understanding each word like, what is that? Which experiences, which is conditioned to arise and experience. Otherwise, it's something, it's me all the time. Even now, even like is there, but it cannot be told what is the object of liking now, see? So it's not because they are gone. Not enough time to think about it, which one is the object of life or dislike. That's why we learn about what is there in each moment, which is not known. So how much ignorance is there? So in order to have less ignorance and other akusala, it has to be only at moment of understanding the truth of it. It's not there anymore. It is a reality conditioned to be only that. And when it's the reality which experiences an object, it has a function of experience, but in different manners, by different characteristics of different ones, different conditions to make it rise. That's all. And this is life, anytime, any moment. So understand each word, what is process, why it is process. Is there process now? What are there in a process? When we use the word process, asava, or kilesa, or nivarana, or kusala, by conditions, pass on forever, never to arise again. And ignorance is there, accumulated on and on and on, until there is the understanding of the nature of that. The nature of that, only the nature of no self is there. Otherwise, it's not yet its nature. For example, hardness. It cannot be smell or anything at all. So it's only a reality, conditioned, arising and falling away, just like any other conditioned reality, no matter it's sound or smell or whatever is there, by conditions and then gone. Just right understanding develops from hearing and understanding more and more, clearer and clearer, until right understanding can directly penetrate the truth of that which it develops to understand is true. By conditions again, who knows when, comparing to that which has been accumulated years and years ago. At moment of understanding of the truth of each one is the moment of letting go, wrong understanding and clinging and attachment to take it for I or something. That's why it needs to understand the truth. Otherwise, what can let go? Wrong understanding and ignorance. And it's now. And Panya develops little by little to understand the truth. What moment is not process and why it is process.
Thank you, Thanachan. You've never heard enough, I guess.
This is all the teachings of the Buddha about
Is that a question for me, Ajahn? What the teaching of the Buddha is about?
now, what the truth of what is there now.
The truths are here and now, all the time, but they haven't been realized because there's not enough understanding yet.
And right understanding, understand the truth. See, not enough.
I appreciate what you say, Tanajan, that this is the teaching of the Samma Sambuddha, but I would like to say, and I know I'll have many people who will agree, that you interpret them very skillfully and very wisely for us all and help us to have a much deeper and better appreciation of them. However, I do appreciate what you are saying, that is the teaching of the Buddha, but we're all very grateful for how you interpret that and help us to, with great patience, help us to understand those truths.
By accumulation, see.
Yes, true, Tanajan. By conditions. Yes. You are very wise, Tanajan, I believe.
Panya, not me. Right understanding cannot be anyone. To let go the idea of self, taking
good reminder, Tanajan, very good reminder.
I think it's an important point to appreciate, because otherwise there's just more clinging to this person or that person, or more comparing, but they're just different dhammas, moments of panya, moments of sati. And it is the wisdom of the Buddha that one's really appreciating. So it is really all for the letting go of the idea of this person and that person, someone there.
But to show appreciation, to show respect, it has to be the perception of a person.
I think it's like when we pay respect to the Buddha, it is to the qualities, it is to the panya that's been accumulated. So less and less idea of the person, someone. It is to dhammas, particular kinds of dhammas.
I mean, less ideas, not as in that you're going to stop thinking, in that even if you think about the panya, it's a particular panya. When we say the Buddha, it's that level of panya, but it's also associated with that person who taught us.
Because we're so used to thinking in terms of people, but the more understanding there is of the reality that it is panya itself, then it more and more it is to that quality, that great panya itself, that one is showing one's appreciation and respect, or to the quality of metta or compassion. So then it's a condition for less clinging to this one or that one, by appreciating the qualities, the kusala. Thinking of this person that doesn't understand and this person that understands, more understanding of the dhammas themselves, more appreciation of the kusala itself. Otherwise, there's more and more clinging.
Comparison is useless. That's just mana. But I mean, there's no stopping thinking that. I mean, in terms of persons, anyway, even if it's not comparing.
But it needs to be understood that in truth, there is no person. So the thinking of person, taking it for someone or someone's qualities, is not the understanding of Dhamma itself. So it's bound to happen, like you say, but there can be more understanding. So there's less thinking in terms of people or people possessing qualities, and more appreciation of the qualities themselves. And this is also the way that there's less thinking of with annoyance about other people's qualities or this or that, because it's more understanding of dhammas themselves. A little bit more letting go, as Ajahn mentioned.
But we know, in the example, less annoyance with others because there's no self and there's only dhammas. But we know that if there's going to be metta, there has to be the perception of a person. of a being.
not that its metta is the friendliness or the kindness
Towards
to
a
the chittas or the cetasikas. No wrong idea of someone there at that time.
yeah, no wrong idea, but it has to be
Yeah.
the concept of a being.
So you're saying that the Buddha cannot have metta, that's what you're saying.
No, I think what Sarah's saying is that it's not the Buddha who has metta, it's just metta. And what I'm saying is that there's no metta without the concept of being as object of chitta at that moment. It cannot be metta towards chitta cetasika. It's metta towards a being. The
It's metta
of a-
towards the chittas and cetasikas that we call this or that person, but no misunderstanding that it is this or that person. It's just
that sounds
chittas and cetasikas.
strange to say that it's metta towards chitta cetasikas. I mean, rightly, there's no person, but the object of the chitta cetasika that we call metta is a concept. It has to be a concept. It's not.
It's a concept,
Yeah.
but in fact, there are just different chittas and cetasikas. In truth, there is no being at all. Like when I'm friendly to you, I can say I'm friendly to Sukhin, and Sukhin is the object, but actually it's the chittas wishing the chittas of the other well.
Because there is different reality, so there is different concept for each one too.
What do you mean by that, Tanajan? There are different. Can you elaborate a little bit about that, Tanajan? I know it's getting on, but can you elaborate a little bit on that when you said there's different concepts? What did you mean by that?
The difference of reality condition different concepts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Buddha,
Okay.
Dhamma, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I call the unpleasant feeling that Sukhins, or say it's Sukhins, but it's just unpleasant feeling, but this unpleasant feeling is different from another unpleasant feeling, so we refer to it in different ways, like the hardness of the table is different from the hardness of the computer, but actually it's just hardness, but we say the hardness of the table or the hardness of the computer, just the same.